Welcome back to Unstable. We're on our 11th episode. So if you made it this far into our, weekly schedule, we appreciate it. We definitely appreciate all the support. We are up, I believe, 3 subscriptions since the last episode, so we really appreciate it. We've been cranking out a lot of great content, a lot of shorts. They've been getting some amazing views, or at least viewership. And, we just want to keep that momentum going. Make sure subscribe, drop a like so you don't miss any content because, we're constantly coming out with almost daily things for you guys. While you're at it, go over to Chaotically Intolerant for Alex. How you doing, man?
Good. When we hit 50 subs, I'll remap the United States.
Oh,
That'll
yes.
be a special episode I record on my own
Oh,
for
Jesus.
Unstable. I'll remap the U.S.
Remap the U.S. and we need to redivision the NFL still. I forgot about that.
That's
Probably,
true.
probably next week. We need to redivision. We'll do that next week. While you're dropping all this love, likes, and subs, make sure you go over to the Curtis Podcast Network on this AFC South show where we recently came in with an episode, and do the same there. We really appreciate all the support. So with that, we'll just dive right in. OTAs. AR kind of had an injury scare. I think it's a non-story. He's coming back from a shoulder injury, and he was one of two in 11 on 11, and missed a deep throw, I guess, by the fingertips of AD. I'll say Mitchell, so we don't get confused with NBA. But I guess he was seen getting worked out on the sideline. They were kind of, I'm guessing they were just playing it safe. I don't think even the coaches and nobody seemed concerned. What do you think about it, Alex?
It's a non-issue. I mean, listen, I know we all have PTSD from Luck, right? Like it started with Luck. It started with he has a little twinge in his ankle, but he's fine. He's gonna play. He'll be perfectly fine. And then obviously it just turns into his retirement. But we all, I think, a reasonable human being also knows Andrew Luck was in the league for how long was it? 6, 7, 8 years at that point. Had already battled through so many injuries and was just struggling mentally.
Shoulder,
Anthony
lacerate
Richardson,
kidney, just the
yeah, I
worst.
mean, when you lacerate your kidney on the football field, that's fucking horrible. When you're
That's pretty
pissing
cool.
blood, they said he was pissing blood,
But he came
and
back out and threw a touchdown after. Like, it's amazing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's completely different than having a little twinge after shoulder surgery. Listen, this is gonna happen,
This
and
is this is OTAs.
yeah,
I think it's a non. I don't think it's
he's
anything to
also
worry
not
about.
pushing himself. He's not going to push himself whatsoever. Richardson,
No,
they've probably told him many
no.
times, don't push yourself. If you feel anything at all that's not normal, you tell us and we'll get you out of there.
Yeah,
All right. They're just
for
being
sure.
over precautious. The only reason this is a story is because Colts fans are blowing it way, way,
Mm-hmm.
way, way, way out of proportion. This is a
For sure.
non-issue right now. I
I mean, I
want to
get the
see,
concern, but
yeah.
I don't think it's an issue.
I understand the thought in the back of the head of, oh my God,
Oh
what
my
if
God, here we go again.
here we go. But that's not going to happen. We're fine. The Colts are fine. Anthony Richardson is fine as long as they protect him. That in the regular season, then we're going to be good.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, we're still what? Hold on, let me pull out my. We're still like three months away from football, so I think it's fine.
June to July, August, or July to August. We're really like 2
Meaningful
months. I mean,
football.
you think about
Well,
it
I'll say
preseason.
meaningful games. I'll say
No,
meaningful.
I know. But when I think of football season, I just think of football is actually happening, and we are so goddamn close.
We're
We
really
are
close, and it's
basically 2
exciting.
months.
Like I usually don't watch preseason. I think I might. Like I
I
usually
usually
look at
watch.
score stuff like that, but I might actually watch as much preseason.
I'll
I
watch
am
like the
dying.
first half. Normally, I'll like. I just want to see what's going on. I want to see all the guys. I like to see like those fringe guys to make a push.
I
Um,
I
well,
miss terrible Thursday night football games right now. I know we're
oh
gonna
yeah.
bitch about it when the season comes, but I'm like, man, I could go for an awful Thursday night game right now.
The only primetime games I really bitch about are the New York Jets because they don't
All of them.
deserve primetime games whatsoever.
I mean, we
Primetime
know
games
Aaron
are for
Rodgers
the
won't be there for it. So
team. And
you
I've
just
had people ask me, "Do you hate the Jets? Like you talked so negatively about the Jets." There's nothing for me to hate about the Jets. They don't succeed. Like I'm so indifferent towards them. I hate how the media covers the New York Jets. They are just like a non if they are equivalent to the Jacksonville Jaguars in my
Oh,
opinion.
jeez.
Like really like and overall as a team, like the Jets, yes, they have more history than the Jags, but in the time that the Jags have existed, I would say they probably have like roughly the same amount of success, right? I think they've been to an AFC championship once.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think the Jags have been more actually in the times that the Jags have existed compared to the time, with the Jets, like that same time frame. So I think since 95, probably whenever the Jets or the Jags came into the league.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
not
have
important
been
enough to remember.
basically almost equal. Or the Texans. Actually, the Texans haven't been to an AFC title game, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, at least the Titans have gone to a Super Bowl. Like, and I saw some clown because Lucas Oil has the Olympic trials there. I think like within the next month or so. So they have the pool in Lucas Oil Stadium. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw it.
that's
It
cool.
looks fucking awesome.
No, I don't have to look at
It
that.
is so cool. And some idiot goes, "Yeah, they have to do that because they have no room like for a trophy case or anything. Like they don't need a trophy case." So, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like you're just a casual. Like we have take infinity and multiply it by the amount of Super Bowls that the Jaguars, Titans, and Texans have won, and it's still less than the amount of Super Bowls that the Indianapolis Colts have won. Infinity times zero is zero, baby.
None.
None. So yeah, I didn't mean to get into like I didn't want to have the Jaguars catch
Oh,
a stray,
he's
but
it's all right. I'd say over it, whatever third and teal, whatever, the lion pussy tamers, whatever they are. He's always ragging on unstable, but he can't make fun of the name because he's the one that thought of it, and I'll give him a shout out for unstable. I love the name. Yeah, he's the one that thought of it, but yeah, he's always ragging on all of us. We get to have a segment of talking shit about him. Do something first and then come at us. I'm just saying. All right. So there was a little bit more bad news coming out, especially for this player. Safety Daniel Scott is going to miss his second season. He tore his Achilles. He was a rookie
already
last year.
I
Tore
did
his
not see that.
ACL, missed his whole rookie year, and now he's torn an Achilles, and he's going to miss his whole sophomore season. So this poor guy, like his career might be over before it started, and that's just you don't want to see that. We'll talk about the overall safety room later in this episode, but it's not something you want to see. Is OTAs tear your Achilles after last year, tearing your ACL, and two rough injuries, man. I don't know if we're actually going to see him in the game. It sucks.
Yeah, I really hope the best for this guy. I hope he's able to come back from this. I mean, knowing
Yeah.
Ballard, if this guy keeps working back, I hope they keep him on. They probably will keep him on. But again, I hope he gets I hope he gets another chance because
Yeah.
for your career to be like over before you even have a shot, that sucks. That's horrible. Like I wouldn't want that on anyone.
No, but like you can talk shit about any of his teams, Cowboys, whatever. You just don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Like that's you don't want to win games when their best isn't out there. And I'm not saying he would have been our best safety, but we don't know.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate part of the game. It just sucks that it happened kind of in a non-contact. Shit happens, and unfortunately, it's happened to him twice. It sucks. But the Colts finally signed A.D. Mitchell. He was the last of the rookie class to get signed. Don't really know what the holdup was. Didn't care. A deal was going to get done. I'm pretty sure it was probably just maybe some language in it. I would assume was the holdup, but so the entire rookie class is signed. I don't know if there's anything more to talk about that.
No.
Let me see. So we're gonna kind of lead into all of our regular segments with me asking this question. there have been 4 Colts players in history to have 1,000 yards and 100 receptions. And who are they?
1,000 yards and 100 receptions.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I think we can take the easy ones with Reggie and Marvin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ty, did he have 100 receptions? I know he had 1,000 yards at one point. Did not get up there though.
Mm-mm.
Ooh, give me Bill Brooks. What about Bill Brooks? No?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Huh. 1,000 yards and 100 receptions. Are the other two like really not obvious, or are they pretty obvious,
They're pretty
guys?
obvious. There's one that is maybe not, but once I say, well, if I tell you, you'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, well, sticking on the theme, Dallas Clark, is he one of them?
He is. He is.
Okay. I didn't want to guess him first because he's a tight end or like those first few. All right, the last one. Who would the last one be?
I mean, I can give you he just did it.
He just did it.
He just did it.
Give me Pitt.
It's Pitt. So Pitt, Harrison,
Yeah.
Wayne, and Dallas Clark are the 4 Colts to have done it, and that leads us right into Dallas Clark, who is our Colts throwback player nominee, and he's also being inducted into the Colts Ring of Honor, which is super exciting. I feel like he should have already been there. That will happen. What is it? October 20th against the Dolphins. So I feel like that'd be a good time to bust out some, maybe some throwback uniforms or something like that for, Dallas Clark being inducted. I feel like that'd be the game to do it now.
And I hope Miami busts out their throwbacks too, because their throwbacks are, they are fucking awesome. Those should be their uniforms. I don't know why they go with the dolphin emoji. Why are they going with an emoji on their helmet? It's crazy to me.
But yeah, I love Dallas Clark. I had his jersey. Unfortunately, I got his jersey like the year before the Colts kind of scrambled everything up and got rid of everybody. He spent a year in Tampa Bay, but it took me a while to get on the jersey train. But
I think they try and claim him too.
I don't. But yeah, he's definitely. I mean, I was born in Iowa. I'm a Hawkeyes fan, and of course he is an Iowa Hawkeye alum, and so I've followed his career pretty much all the way. Came to Indianapolis, and man, I couldn't have been happier. Peyton Manning, one of his favorite targets. A lot of great times. Man, I love Dallas Clark. He never wore gloves, and he was always sure-handed. He had some one-handed catches that were, fucking incredible.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Colts of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll lead me into my highs. I'll just stick right on the same theme. I think I mentioned the 2006 AFC Championship and one of my other highs. I'm gonna go Dallas Clark on it just because he went off in that game. He had like 6-7 catches, 130, 140 yards. And throughout the entire playoff run, I think he had like 200 catches, 600-700 yards throughout that playoff run. He was pivotal. I can't say it. He was very important and instrumental to them getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I love Dallas Clark. So yeah, this is a whole shout out theme. Dallas Clark, if you're one of our 18 subscribers, we'd love to have you on the show. I'm reaching. So, Alex, what do you got for your high?
All right. So for I'm going to go with my throwback player first, and it's going to lead into my high.
Gotcha.
Now, I wasn't alive for this person's tenure as a Colt, but I'm going with one of the original GOAT quarterbacks, Johnny Unitas, who originally was a Pittsburgh Steeler early in his career. He went to the University of Louisville, and the Steelers actually cut him because he was one of 4 quarterbacks, and they had 3 spots open. And then because of a lineman who was trying out. Maybe he was already on the Colts, or he was going to sign his contract, and there was a Colts tryout. A lineman who had like basically the same life as Johnny Unitas. They both grew up in Pittsburgh. They were steel workers at a young age, and that lineman said, "Hey, Johnny, come try out for the Colts. Come to this tryout. I know you got cut." Um, and when he tried out for the Colts. The Colts obviously claimed him, and hilariously enough, the Browns were also upset because they wanted Johnny Unitas as well at the same time, but the Colts are just too quick. So he won, I think, 3 MVPs. He also his replacement. He had a struggle with injuries kind of towards the end. Earl Morrall, who was the backup quarterback, replaced him and won the MVP. And then Unitas came back the next year and they beat Dallas in the Super Bowl. Johnny Unitas also led the Colts over the Giants in the greatest game ever played, the NFL championship in 1958. And shockingly, all of this is actually off the top of my head. I did not think I had this much Johnny Unitas knowledge in my head. But I do have his Wikipedia up here as well. Let's see how many. I want to look at his MVPs. Yeah, Super Bowl champion. He won 3 NFL champions, 3 NFL MVPs. Walter Payton Man of the Year, or just Man of the Year in 1970. 5-time first team All-Pro, 3-time second team All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler, 4-time passing yards leader, 4-time passing touchdowns leader, 2-time NFL passer rating leader, NFL completion percentage leader, 1960s all-decade team, 50th anniversary all-time team, 75th anniversary all-time team, 100th anniversary all-time team, Burt Bell Award, and he has number 19 and number 16 retired as a Colt. And I will lead this into the high of the organization, I guess, more than as a fan. The 1958 NFL Championship. It is still lauded as the greatest game ever played. Which, if you watch footage from back then, I think we have better games played on like a normal Sunday in the NFL, because just life was horrible back then. I'm gonna say it. Life was bad for people back then. The entertainment was horrible. Have you ever watched a movie from back then? It's impossible to watch. I will if I see a movie that starts in 1960, I'm like, ugh.
If it's got that grainy ass, whatever with the spotlights, I turn it off.
Yeah. If it starts with a 5, if that year starts like 1905, I'm like, nope, not even watching. I'm not even wasting my fucking time. Not even wasting my time here.
Yep. Okay. I'll try it if I'm watching like Mystery Science Theater 3000. I'll watch it if it's the little robots talking shit. Like that's about it.
And this sounds like so I don't know. People will get mad because I said that. And like I'm just not gonna take the time to watch something in the 1950s. I'm not.
Yeah, we're millennials, man.
I'm Gen Z. I'm like further away from that.
Well, shut up.
I'm like, don't even. I could like, I know technology that's light years and light years ahead of that. You want to tell me to watch the fucking Sound of Music? What about literally any other movie ever? How about
any movie ever made ever after
any movie that has ever been made beside like why? But it was the first overtime game in NFL history as well. We beat them 23-17.
Nice.
Alan Amici was the fullback to score. That's a great little like what's it called? Trivia question. If you ever do trivia and someone asks who scored the game-winning touchdown in the greatest game ever played. Yeah. So that was kind of my both high moment and because I'll still flex that as a Colts fan. I'm like, we literally won the greatest game ever played. We won that. So
we have that flex.
Yeah.
So my low, I went to. We have a lot of lows against the Patriots, and I had just moved to Iowa. I lived there for a few years. After living in Houston for a long time. Moved up there, didn't really know anybody. A guy I worked with is also a Colts fan, and he was like, "Man, come over and watch the game." This was 2015. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Oh,
the infamous.
Oh no!
punt was that someone actually mapped out the play and spelled out WTF in the thing. It was hilarious. It was probably, we played in the greatest game ever played, and the Colts probably also have one of the worst play calls in NFL history. And it's Pagano, man.
I think the only worst one was Dallas against San Francisco a few years ago. It was in the playoffs. It was like I think it was 2 seasons ago. Dallas needed a touchdown to win the game. It was like the final seconds, and they line up and just hand the ball off to Zeke, like a regular handoff. And I remember sitting there like, what just happened?
Like, did you just ended the game on a run up the middle?
Why would you run it up the middle? You didn't even try to like run to the outside and pitch it back and do all this shit. No, you ran it up the middle. And then you could also say Dallas like a year before that in Dallas against San Francisco with Jimmy G, and Dak slides with no timeouts.
I was just about to bring that up.
Like, what are we doing here? Dallas has a few different moments.
But yeah, it's even after that fake punt, there's obviously they weren't lined up. The formation was all fucked. Like the entire play, like I don't know what. Like there was absolutely no communication. I don't know why Pagano didn't go for a timeout. I don't understand.
I think someone said
like they're like, oh, there was a penalty for illegal formation, and he's like, why would I accept that?
There's literally that reminds me so much of Steichen. What Steichen will do. He'll do like on 4th down, he tries to draw him off sides. He'll do different fucking formations. I'm like, dude, stop. One day someone's going to make a mistake and they're going to hike that ball.
But at least they know not to. Like he does this shit to try and bring them on and off the field. Like I'm okay with it. Like
I think one of the players actually, they talked about it a little later and they were like, yeah, I remember we asked, like, are you sure you want us to hike it? Like, are you 100% sure? Because I think if it was any other team, I think it might have worked. But doing it against the Patriots, Bill Belichick, who is known for his special team play, for like those little things where it's like, okay, like don't fuck this shit up because these are the little things that really matter.
Look, and okay, well, there's the center and the guy behind him to get the football, and everyone else is like, why in the fuck would I not line everybody up over this guy?
And then you see like 3 Patriots like run, they run to the center and they're like, you're literally you're sitting there like watching. You're like, okay, they're not
hiking this ball. They're not. Oh my god! He went down.
And then immediately I was like, I don't even remember I didn't know what to say. I was like, me and my dad were both watching it.
Me and my friend were just completely confused. And they lost that game by 7. Like, they had punted away. They probably have a good chance to win this game.
Yeah.
And then after that, of course, the Patriots scored a touchdown. The rest is history. But it's like, if you had punted, you probably win this game.
I think that was the same game that Gronk had that long touchdown catch. It's like in like every single Gronk highlight package. It's in it where he catches it, throws a guy off, stiff arms another guy. Like, just like, there's literally like, I think the entire defense had a hand on Gronk and Gronk just did not go down. It's literally like the videos are titled, like someone says, oh, Gronk isn't that good. And then like, just show them this video. And it's like, it's that play. I don't, maybe it was a different Sunday night game in Lucas Oil, but
I'm not a fan of Gronk. It's him being a Patriot. I'm not going to be a Gronk fan. I'm just not, but there's no denying like how dominant he was when he was healthy. I think as a football fan, we could all agree to that.
He is the greatest traditional tight end, I think, of all time. Because when you talk about Travis and Gronk, you can't compare them. They basically play 2 different positions, in my opinion.
Like
the skill set is completely different. It's not fair to either one of them, I think, to compare. Because Travis
depends on what kind of team you're trying to run. Like if you're like Gronk was a great blocker too, and I don't consider Kelsey to be in that top tier blocking tight end group. He's very much a wide receiver tight end.
Yeah, but
he's also like Jimmy Graham was with the Saints. Like I wouldn't put Jimmy Graham as a great blocker.
But that's not Travis's purpose. He's not out on the field to block, and everybody knows it. Travis knows it. Andy Reid knows it.
The entire defense knows it.
He's been like that pretty much since he's come into the league. I mean, that's just what it is. So to say, oh, Gronk is better, Travis is better. It's like, no, these guys are completely
Very
different.
different tight ends.
Like you can compare like Tony Gonzalez, I think, more to Gronk than to Travis. And
I mean,
Tony
like
Gonzalez is a great pass catcher.
I feel like that's trying to compare someone like Maurice Jones-Drew or Jamal Charles to like Derrick Henry. Like
it's
polar opposite types of rookie types.
It's comparing a scat back to a power run, the I formation, stack the fucking line, and just give it to your guy, and he's gonna bowl through.
Like, of course, you're gonna say, "Oh, Jamal Charles, whatever, almost 6 yards per carry." I'm like, he also was insanely fast. Derrick Henry is fucking big and physical. Obviously, his yards per carry aren't going to be up there with his. Yeah. You can't compare the two, but still hate you, Gronk. Fuck you, Gronk.
And I also think, have you seen Travis Kelce without like his pads? Like, have you seen him shirtless before?
No, I don't go looking up shirtless Kelce.
If you compare it from Kelce to Gronk, because we see Gronk shirtless all the time, he's always taking off his shirt. But if you compare that, like their body types are different. Travis is a lot skinnier. He almost like doesn't look like a football player. Like if you saw him on the beach, you'd be like, wow, that guy's really tall, but he doesn't really look like a football player. He could probably play basketball more than anything. But Gronk, you see Gronk shirtless, like Gronk is fucking massive because he's a better blocker, because he's going to block. But that was his purpose on that team, was to be a blocker and a pass catcher. Travis is built like a wide receiver. So, of course, and that's through, I guarantee you, if he was supposed to block more, they would have him bulk up more and he would have more weight on him. But he's like, I don't need to. Why would I need to carry this weight when I just need to be fast?
No, I agree. Let's see. I guess we could get into some questions. Oh, you're good.
My low. I was going to go with the one we said earlier, but I changed up my high, so I'm going to change up my low too. I'm going to go us losing to Baltimore in Baltimore, Andrew Luck's rookie season in the wild card round. I think first off, it's your first playoffs without Peyton. So, there's something there, and Peyton is also in the playoffs. And if you think about it, looking back on it, Peyton went to the AFC title game, although he did lose to Baltimore. And I always do feel better about losing in the playoffs if you lose to the eventual AFC champion, because it's like, okay,
that was Flacco's incredible playoff run, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like where he had to go through Luck, Manning.
That was the year they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like Hall of Fame run, that playoff run.
Yeah, and that whole team was fantastic. That was also Ray Lewis's last year. Yeah. So there was I think that whole team was just inspired by him as well. But I think that's a low moment for me because I remember being young. I have so many good memories with that Colts team, that 2012 Colts team. So to at least win a playoff game, and I was really hoping that. And you don't want to lose to Baltimore in the playoffs as a Colts. As a Colt.
Young, man. I was in my 20s, man. Can you keep that shit to yourself? Damn it.
But you do, you don't want to lose to Baltimore in the playoffs in Baltimore after
as a Colts fan.
They hate our guts.
They hate our guts.
So you don't want to do that. And I guess that's a low moment, even though obviously there were better moments to come and that gave us the experience. But if it was going to lose to anyone, I think I almost would have rather lost to the Patriots that for week one, or in the wild card round, because it's like Tom Brady doesn't lose to rookie quarterbacks. He just doesn't. So you go into that and you're like, okay, we're gonna lose. That's just what it is. So yeah,
I agree. Colts never want to lose to Baltimore. They fucking hate us.
Yeah.
Oh man, I guess I have a question. Considering it was Flacco that did that and had that kind of historic run. Right now, would you rather have Minshew still on this team, or would you rather have Flacco?
Minshew, weirdly enough, I don't know. I really don't know. I have to talk this through, I guess. Minshew, I think there's a better guarantee of talent. Like, if he steps out on the field, I think we know what we're gonna get. Flacco, right now, we have no clue what we're gonna get. We could have last year's Flacco. We could have 2012 Flacco. We could have whatever. He could also step out and he can throw the ball 15 yards. And like that's it. Or he throws 10 interceptions. Gardner, but again, it also feels like, because I love Gardner, I feel like we would be wasting his career away. Like he's going to be sitting for another year. And I would rather have him go and compete for a job, not sitting here. And I'll take my shot with Flacco because there's less of a safety net for Richardson. There's less of it's okay if you screw up, if you get hurt, if you suck. We have Minshew and he's already done it before. Like I think there's a little bit less of a safety net where it's like, okay, if you get hurt, like we don't know what we're gonna get from Flacco. We kind of know what we're gonna get from you. We don't know what we're gonna get from Flacco. So, and it's also good to have the veteran presence, I think, in the locker room. So I think I would rather have Flacco. I mean, we have to go into this season. You have to be prepared for an injury, but you have to expect that he's going to play 18 games or 17 games.
When I thought about this at first, I was like, I think I'd rather have kept Minshew because that's the way I was leaning. But then I heard some of Anthony Richardson's comments, and apparently he's still slinging some bombs out there on the practice field. And now Anthony Richardson is like, man, this guy, he was my idol when he's a legend. I was watching this guy when I was a kid, and he gives me shit for saying that all the time. But but this guy is 40. He's dropping bombs out here on the practice field, so it makes me go out there and have to one up him. So I kind of like that competitive, whatever in AR. I liked it Flacco, and AR also talked, very highly of Minshew. I don't think AR is the type to bash anybody. He seems too humble of a dude. But yeah, I mean, when he started saying those things, I felt a little more confident. Okay, Flacco still has some arm strength, whereas, I mean, Minshew had some really good deep passes last year, but he also had some ducks too. So
the thing is, I don't know how much I trust these guys when they go out and talk up players, in the media. Like, because what else are they going to say? Are they going to say, "Oh man, his arm sucks right now"? Like, I don't blame them for not being completely truthful, because listen, like you're in the NFL, you can't let the media machine take over. And if you go out and say something negative about a guy, like, that's that's going to create a circus. And we're not Aaron Rodgers. We're not the New York Jets. We're not trying to create a media circus here. So I just don't know how much I trust. And then you also have to think about practice speed versus game speed too, and the element of that. So I guess with his arm, I want to hear like what the media says, like what people actually at OTAs have to say about Flacco's arm. I haven't seen anything really come out yet about it. I could just not be paying attention all that much to it right now, but I would like to see what like Zach Kiefer has to say about Flacco. Usually when I hear nothing, that's not good. Like, you want to hear, though, a lot of these guys, because they have relationships with these guys, so they do want to keep them happy. And when the media says nothing, it's either they're average, they're okay, or they suck. But if they're playing well, you're going to hear, wow, Flacco really has it today. Flacco really is like showing, he's showing like he's not that old, but you're just not hearing that all that much.
Yeah, I agree with that. You want to hear, again, AR, and I guess the last day of OTAs when 1 of 2, apparently Flacco finished out, but they didn't really talk about how he did.
Yeah.
So you're wondering, well, did Flacco do well or did he look like shit? Like these are the things. Like okay, if you're talking about AR being hurt, I want to know how did Flacco do? That might be a little bit of a concern, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of go back onto
I'm
the.
actually trying to find anything on that because there's like no stats on what Flacco did. See, odd day for Richardson. Joe Flacco took the starting reps in a couple periods. First time we've seen that this spring.
Like nothing about his performance.
Yeah, they aren't saying anything. Normally they would, if he played well or just okay, I think they would say something about it.
I'm sure he's a veteran. I'm sure he did okay at least. I don't know. Maybe just nothing of note. You know, nothing noteworthy.
I hope.
I hope.
Lord, I hope.
All right. So I had one more question before we kind of whatever. Again, staying on the Dallas Clark, inducted into the Colts Ring of Honor. Who was before Clark? Who was the last person inducted into the Colts Ring of Honor?
Mm,
I thought about that, and it wasn't anything obvious like I thought it would be.
did it happen last year?
It did not. 2 years ago.
2 years? Was it? Was it? It wasn't Mathis, was it?
I think he was the like a year before this person.
He's been really close. Freeney?
I think Freeney and Mathis were like back to
Were they
back, but
together
like a year before like
or
this
close?
person. Because
Uh,
that's who I was thinking. I was like, man, who was it? I was like, it's got to be Mathis, and it wasn't. I was shocked at who it was. Well, not shocked, but it's not one of those obvious names. But it's like, oh, okay.
was it? Man, I don't know. Vinny? Hold on, I think you cut out. Was it Vinny?
No, no, it wasn't.
No. Um. Oh, I feel like I definitely know this. It was too. I can like picture it in my head about who's like standing up there. Um. You're gonna have to give it to me. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Tariq Glenn, offensive tackle.
That's who it was. I
It's when I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but like, damn, I didn't know.
it was definitely a little more forgettable of a name, I
Yeah,
think, than
yeah.
like the regular Colts.
Like I get him being there. I understand it. I was really thinking like Freeney and Mathis would have been a little sooner, but
I
or
wanted
I
to
guess
say
more
Peyton.
recently. But
I wanted to say Peyton because I was like, he hasn't had the best relationship, but then I was like, no, but he got
I like
that
Flacco.
statue
Mm-hmm.
like a couple years after he retired. So I was like, there's no way they put up a statue and not have
It
him in the
didn't put
ring
him
of
in. Yeah, no, it was surprising. I'm like, really? Oh, okay, that's cool.
honor. Yeah.
All right,
He
so
won a Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl with us, so
yeah,
that's
sure,
awesome.
yeah, definitely deserved.
Oh yeah.
So I've been since we talked about Daniel Scott
I have my
safety.
question too.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I guess if we're sitting at the trade deadline,
Oh boy.
right, and the we're like struggling against the pass, like we're getting torn apart, and our pressure numbers are good, like everything else on the front is good. Are we going to make a trade? Like would you I think more would you make a trade for a like veteran or a high quality corner?
If we're in a competitive season at the trade deadline, like we're not, like
Yeah, we're
we're
not
in a
like
serious hunt.
horrible. We're sitting at like second place in the AFC South. We I don't know, we're like maybe like a game back at Houston. we're in the thick of it, basically. Like, we're sitting there fighting. We're not a front runner, but we're sitting there fighting.
Who for? I'm not sure, but you definitely would have to look into it. Like, I don't think a free agent corner, if you're getting torched, but your front seven is doing what it's supposed to, and your secondary is getting beat up, yeah, I think it's something you definitely have to explore at the deadline. I don't know if Ballard pulls that trigger, but I think we talked about it in past episodes that this has got to be. I feel like if AR is healthy and they miss the playoffs, he's done. So
let's say AR
that
isn't
comes to
there.
fruition,
Let's say AR is not healthy at that point, but we're still in the thick of it.
I think you have to do what you can to salvage it, man. I still think you need to pull the trigger on it. And if you're not in the thick of it and you're kind of almost out of contention, then your job is probably toast as it is at that point. So if you're in the thick of it, and if AR isn't, I still think you need to do what you can to try to save your job.
Now, here's the cornerback class
yes.
for next year, because that's going to be a big thing too, or you're probably going to have to get a rental, I would assume, if you're at the deadline. You have Carlton Davis, Travarius Ward, DJ Reed, Jonathan Jones, Byron Murphy, Jeff Okuda, Rasul Douglas, Mike Hilton, and Dante Jackson. Those are the guys I think more of note. Because you have some playoff teams in there, like some perennial playoff teams. There's Detroit, San Francisco, Houston, which I can give them a playoff team. I mean, I think they're most likely going to make the playoffs. Buffalo, Cincy, even Pittsburgh is there. They're going to be fighting for a spot too.
Yeah.
I don't think you're seeing Houston making a trade. I don't think they would not do that. That would be beyond stupid.
Yeah, they're not right.
I don't think. Let's say the Jets are probably still going to be fighting for a playoff spot by the deadline. I think that's fair. Like the Rodgers will most likely still be there at that point. So
if you're a Jets fan, you're sure hoping so. Yeah.
DJ Reed's out. I mean, Pittsburgh is a question mark. Who knows if Russ still has it? So Dante Jackson could be an option, and he's only his previous was like $6 million. That's how much he was making.
Yeah, there's no way that the Niners will do that. Maybe the Broncos
for
like Surtain.
Oh, Pat Surtain.
Maybe.
What's it? When's he? Is he 2026?
Oh, I thought we were talking about trades. Like,
no, I'm talking about trade. But
I thought you were talking about the trade deadline. Sorry.
I'm looking at the trade deadline, but I'm more looking at guys. You're probably gonna have a better chance at getting guys that are gonna, in a contract year.
Okay, got you. Okay.
But I mean, we could also look at other guys too. But I think just if you got to look at like non-playoff teams,
you're diving even more into it than that. I'm just like, man, who can we get to come in and help if they dive into that? I haven't looked at that. Let's see. I just kind of wish he would have pulled the trigger on that trade for the Chiefs, and we wouldn't even have to have a discussion like that.
Yeah, trust me.
Now there's rumors coming out that there wasn't even any discussion. I mean, that came out a while ago, but like, oh yeah, we thought about maybe doing it, but
I saw some idiot, some jackass said that the guy who leaked, like, oh, the deal is pretty much done, like it's guaranteed. They were like, he should be fired for that. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's journalism. You can say what you want.
Yeah, like
I mean, as long as I'm not trying to say like
or whatever, like he made one mistake about a cornerback. Like, how is that a fireable offense? That's crazy to me. People are just assholes.
I mean, it's not like you and me are in the news thing. Like if we we can speculate all day. Like, we think we're going to trade for this person. No one is going to take what we're saying to the bank and like, oh yeah, they're going to go get this guy from like, you're going to get Pat Surtain from the Broncos. Like,
they're not what they're analysts, and they're like,
I'm allowed to.
They just take the information that they hear. It's not their job to put out the facts. I think the news overall should be putting out the facts, but like sports news and stuff, that's not their job. So yeah, what a fucking asshole that guy was.
I do feel like if you're gonna like, you shouldn't be the first. Like, maybe say the Colts are looking at trading. Deal might be close. Like, use keyworded might be close.
Yeah.
But the deal's pretty much done. Okay, that was kind of your mistake because obviously it wasn't.
Yeah.
So maybe use better language in your breaking reports.
Yeah.
It's pretty much done. Yeah, they're just ironing out the contract details. Yeah, we weren't even talking about Kansas City.
That would be really disappointing. I think
it might have been bad journalism.
But I'm more talking about if they never even had conversations with Kansas City. I don't know how well. I mean, the fan base would call for Ballard's head. I mean, if you're in a situation where you need a cornerback, or just a secondary player, any competent secondary player, and you're not even in talks with the guy, like the best guy available,
and you can let him go to town. I feel like they were probably at least in conversation with Kansas City just to let him walk to Tennessee. There had to have been something like he probably just didn't want to pay Snead all the money that he wanted. Like, he didn't put him in the top 3 of corners. It's probably just where he was sitting.
Yeah.
It was probably a guaranteed money issue, and Ballard wasn't going to shell it.
I was already pissed that they didn't trade for him. I thought, like, this is the year. Like, you have not taken a chance in your entire time being here. Like, I feel like Buckner was
traded for Buckner.
Yeah, his biggest move was Buckner, and that was he was a pretty sure thing. So you don't take one fucking shot with L'Jarius Sneed and say, you know what, we're gonna pay him the money. That just is what it is. We're gonna pay him the fucking money. Maybe we'll take a wash.
This next season we might be calling him a genius based on performance. You don't know.
That's true.
Hey, I'm sure glad he didn't do the trade because fuck, you don't know. He's already got his World Series. Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry, I was just looking at baseball. He's already got his Super Bowl championship. Now he's paid.
Yeah.
So he might be one of those players. I don't give a shit. I got paid and I got the ring. Don't care. He might have been right to not throw the money at him. I guess we'll find out next year.
I guess.
With our luck, though, he might come out to be the top corner in the.
I would still rather him. I think honestly, there's one player you could point to of a what if. Rock Ya-Sin had a pretty good year last year as a corner in Vegas, and we let him go. And I was a big Rock Ya-Sin hater too. I was so pissed with that guy. He was getting He was getting torched. I think in 21.
Yeah.
So there was a reason to let go of him, but I guarantee you could have kept him on as a backup or something. I think he was getting more. I think he was getting more reps than Isaiah Rodgers or somebody. There was someone else that he was getting way more reps than, and I was like, "What the fuck are we doing? Why are we playing Rock Ya-Sin repeatedly?" But he had a good year in Oakland, or not Oakland, Vegas.
Still Oakland. I don't care.
It's fucking Oakland. The Oakland A's are driving me crazy too. I just saw a story. They want to play 10% of their games at a neutral site. They're 10% of their home games at a neutral site, which they're already they don't want to play in the stadium that is in the new city that they have just bitched to get out of. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Every Oakland team. What is wrong with almost every Oakland?
Well, to their credit, you built your team and your stadium in a city where it's going to be neutral. It's not a home game in Vegas. People travel, gamble, whatever. It is not going to be. There's going to be quite a few Raiders fans.
I think the A's fans are going to be too pissed. They could make the trip. They could, but they're going to be too pissed. They're going to go to the Giants. They'll probably go to the Giants more than anything, because that was the battle of the Bay back then. And why would you go to the Angels? Who in their right mind would move to the Angels when you have 28 other options out there, or 29 other options out there? The Dodgers, that would be too, like, I don't know, that would be too meta, or not meta. It would just be too, bandwagon, I guess is the right word for it.
Yeah.
So the Giants seems like the perfect spot for those A's fans. Red Sox will always welcome them. We'll welcome you guys, A's fans.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've been talking about Rockets and whatever, let's talk. I think we've talked about the cornerback room quite a bit, but Dallas Flowers in OTAs has kind of emerged as the favorite right now. After about a month into last season, he had his Achilles, I believe it was. So it cut his. I think it was his Achilles. Either way, it ended the season. And right now he's emerged as the front runner to play opposite of Juju Brents. I still like Jalen Jones. I like there's competition.
In week 4.
Week 4.
Yeah.
So I guess who would you prefer? Would you like to give second year Jalen Jones to go, or Flowers?
Right now it's Dallas Flowers. I think in his short time that he did have, he had a forced fumble, he had a fumble recovery, and 3 pass deflections in, like 3.5 games, pretty much. I'll take that. And in 2022, he was a great kick returner as well. And I love it. I love seeing guys who come from special teams and go over to defense or to another position. I love it when guys.
Franklin, baby.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Flowers had a punt return touchdown or a kick return touchdown in 2022. Yeah. Kick return. So
wasn't it Flowers that had a big kick return to kind of change the game too?
Oh, it was against Pittsburgh.
Flowers? That was Flowers, wasn't it?
Dallas Flowers erupts for 89-yard return. That was this year.
Yeah.
January 6th. Oh, whoops.
Jesus Christ.
Whoops. January 6th, well-known anniversary of Dallas Flowers' 89-yard return. It actually wasn't a touchdown.
No. Oops.
Who can forget? Who can forget the the worst day in American history or in Pittsburgh history, when Dallas Flowers returned and he had the kick return against the Bucks with Brady. Ran it back to like the 50 or something. So Dallas Flowers, listen, he
Special Teams MVP, baby.
the most memorable thing to happen on January 6th in U.S. history.
Dallas Flowers 89-yard.
Yeah.
Since we're looking at it, I tend to agree with Flowers. I like Jalen Jones's effort. I think it'll do him good to kind of sit back again for a little bit longer. I like his never quit attitude, motor always running. Mm-hmm. But Flowers was playing really, really well at the position before he got hurt. So,
yeah,
I don't disagree with them giving him the nod. And I guess since we're talking about our secondary, I talked about Daniel Scott getting hurt again. So I decided to look at the Colts, safety locker room, and it's outside of, Thomas, Blackman, and then Nick Cross. It's kind of rough, man.
Rodney Thomas he's very up and down. Yeah. I think he has his struggles as much as he is successful. Which, who knows? That could be something, just a young guy. He's trying to figure it out. Those could just be some growing pains. So
possibly.
I am excited to see how he's going to play, though.
Yeah, for sure. But man, do we need to look at the free agent pool here at safety? Because it's another position that I'm concerned about, to be honest.
I'm concerned about our whole secondary. Don't worry, but don't worry. I'm fucking concerned about the whole secondary. Yeah. I really want to see
I mean, there's
Nick
still some
Cross
good names out there too,
need
honestly.
to. I love Nick Cross. I really want to see him succeed
Mhm.
as well. But yeah,
Likewise, but it's like, man, you've got like there's Xavier McKinney still out there.
this is the SpongeBob meme of like, who are you people? For a lot of them.
Yeah, it's. I would like to see them get another veteran safety, if not just to kind of just be there. Injuries, shit happens.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think I might be a little more concerned about the safety room than I am the corner room. Like I know we got burnt, but we also didn't get pressure a lot. So it's. I feel like if the pressure's there, the cornerbacks will kind of figure it out. You know what I mean?
I think if you were like in a courtroom, you could like put the safeties as like accessory to horribleness and
Yeah.
with the cornerbacks. Like if you were trying the cornerbacks for being bad in last season, be like, and Your Honor, the safety
I'd
room
also like to
was
point
an
out the safety room.
accessory.
I guess I could see that. Oh shit, what I do? There we go.
Ladies and
But yeah,
gentlemen, the cornerback room was assisted in being shit by the safety room.
Jesus Christ. So I think there might be a couple of veterans out there in the corner and safety room that the Colts could benefit from maybe signing. I don't know about waiting till mid-season to make a trade. I feel like there's still some decent corner names. There's still some decent safety names out there. Maybe they're just sitting back waiting to see what happens in training camp, stuff like that, before they make any more free agent splashes, seeing how the rookies pan out. Maybe that's where the mentality is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's both rooms look a little shaky. So I'm hoping they know more than I do.
Justin Simmons is still out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Howard for cornerback, obviously.
Yeah.
Gilmore, you have Steven Nelson out of Houston too. Quandre Diggs from Seattle, I'll take him. Or Eddie Jackson, I'll take any of those guys. Cam Sutton as well
I'm,
from Detroit.
all I can say is I hope Ballard's doing his due diligence. Maybe he sees something that he doesn't like and who's let. I don't know. I can't figure out why else you'd be stingy if you're just like, nah, I think they're a wash. I don't know.
Hey,
When
Mark
you're looking at that
Lewinsky.
roster, it's like maybe we should jump on one of these vets, but maybe it's a money issue. I don't know. Maybe they've been talking and they want too much.
I'm
I don't
just
know.
so sick and tired of hearing money issue from the Colts. For the last 10 years, we've heard that the same thing. Jim
Well, you
Irsay,
hear it on
you're
his
not
big
John
game.
Fisher. Jim is not John Fisher. He is not the Oakland A's owner. All right, spend a little bit more money. Come on, fork it over. All
This
right,
is a baseball,
maybe
man. We do have a salary cap.
maybe he's been giving away too many $100 bills.
Uh,
Like
Whatever.
maybe a little too many. Come on, Jim. I mean, listen, we can go over the salary cap. We'll just have some penalties. But if you want to win a Super Bowl, like sometimes that's just what you got to do. If you want to be competitive, sometimes you do have to go over
Well,
the
if they're
salary.
if they're going to do that, I would rather them trade for a sure bet than just throw money at a free agent that's not really going to do shit for you. And I'm not saying that the free agents out there won't do shit. I'm just saying there might be a reason that they're not signed yet. I don't know. So
Yeah.
who knows? There are people that get paid a lot more money than me to make these decisions. So I leave it at that.
And yet we still haven't won a Super Bowl since 2006. So I'm gonna hate on them because they get paid so much to not do anything.
So instead of we're not gonna end this, we're not gonna end the show shitting on the Colts. And I wondered why Anthony Richardson hadn't been on the McAfee show. He finally was. and it was a good 20, 25 minutes. Just Pat McAfee and his crew just kind of asking questions about AR, getting to know him better. And honestly, I didn't know too much about the dude until I listened to the segment. I just based on his post game speeches, and there wasn't a whole lot of them, but just listening to him, he's a humble guy. He's down to earth. He pays respect to the veterans. He loved working with Minshew. He's talked about in depth about working with Flacco. He's like, man, this guy's he's 40, he's a legend. He won a Super Bowl. I get to bounce questions off of him, and he's like, it's awesome. So just seeing him on the McAfee show was pretty cool. Getting to know the guy a little bit more. I enjoyed. It was a fun 20 minutes at work, listening to them interview AR, get to know him a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Some things. Apparently, he bulked up to 255, so he's a big dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. He was already a big dude, and he's only getting bigger. So hopefully, that whatever he did is going to surround, the ligaments and be like a force field, mm-hmm. for those ligaments, because that's what I worry about is the ligaments more than anything. And I've talked about this when it comes to baseball, actually, because a lot of pitchers have been, Tommy John has skyrocketed, and mm-hmm. Pirates pitcher Paul Skeens, who's a fucking monster. I'm like afraid Tommy John is coming already. He just threw three straight pitches over 100 miles an hour past Shohei Ohtani tonight, which is just Wednesday night. So I don't know if this will be dropping Friday or Thursday or whatever. I think Friday. Okay. So yeah, a couple of nights ago. And my big issue has been that pitchers are not trained different, or they're trained differently now. They're trained to get stronger, right? And they're physically stronger. Well, you look at how pitchers train back in the day. You look at a guy like Pedro Martinez, who I heard talking about this. They trained for ligaments. Pedro was not a big guy. Pedro was not like a muscular guy. And you look at a lot of the pitchers coming out now, they're either like Chris Sale, who is skin and bone. He's a fucking twig, but he's just so long and lanky that he literally, like, it looks like he folds his arm in half when he throws, and it just works. But again, he has injury struggles too. When Pedro was coming up, they worked out the ligaments and they worked out stability over strength. They didn't give a shit about how fast you could throw, as long as you could put it in the right spot. And I mean, Pedro could throw gas too. He wasn't a scrub, basically. Mm-hmm. A lot of these pitchers are not training and strengthening their ligaments. And I would love to see AR do that as well. Now, obviously he's going to put on weight, but I would love to see him work with a lot of resistance bands more than anything, because that's how you train your ligaments to get stronger, to be able to withstand a lot more pressure from the different things that he's going to be doing. So hopefully that's what they're taking, because if, the bigger you get, the more muscle there is, which the more muscle there is, easier chance you can hurt it. And there's more weight on you. The more weight puts a lot more pressure on your joints. So I don't know. I'm happy. I'm really happy that he put on weight. He looks fucking awesome. He looks like a monster. So, but again, that Andrew Luck thought is always going to be there.
We can't think like that, man. He went on to say he loves Indianapolis. His family probably loves the city more than he does, and that's saying something. Like, he loves being here. He was talking about the Texans and all the shit talking that CJ Stroud's been doing, and he's like, they can keep writing us off, but we all know that we got some dogs here, and they're like, keep talking, Stroud. We'll see you week 1, baby. AD Mitchell came in. Apparently they already have a good rapport. They bounce stuff off of each other. They got, good chemistry going already. I mean, that's OTA talks. They're going to say it, but yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that he's connecting well with another rookie, and you want to see it, because Mitchell will probably be the guy to replace Pierce. So That's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
I also learned that he sat down for a 7-hour full back tattoo session. Apparently, was fully sedated during. That's crazy, man. He went under for 6-7 hours to get a back tattoo. Apparently, I mean, it looked badass. They showed it, Pat McAfee show. They showed it all blown up. So that was, it was a nice session. And I forgot that I saw a rap video of Anthony Richardson. He does a little rapping on the side. He goes in the studio and maybe stick to being a quarterback, but
that's
got something that you like to do, man. Do it.
I hope he's happy, but yeah, I would much rather him focus on film right now than rap. But listen, if he can do both, hell yeah.
Well, he made a joke about that. He was like, "Yeah, I like to rap in my free time. I like to rap in my free time, but I don't have much free time." Like, it seems like he's coming out of the off season, just been training, just working out, learning the playbook. He says he feels a lot more settled in. That's the kind of talk that you want to hear. That he feels more comfortable with the offense. They're throwing more stuff at him. They like how much he's learned out of the playbook. So it seems like he's really, really trying to avoid what happened last season and just continue up in his game. So
do we want to watch the rap video on here? I have it pulled up.
Why not? Let's go for it. We're already in an hour. Let's do the AR rap video.
It's called Talk to Two.
Oh boy.
Oh wait, I think you got to show it, or you have to.
I gotta add it to the. Well, let me see here. Add the stage.
There we go.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh yeah, hey Mark, you on?
You can hear it, right?
Yeah, I can hear it. Got the Lambo.
GVO, nigga.
I think that's him.
I think it was with featuring too.
Listen. I talked to and I told him that we authentic, nigga. Reach for our dreams, I'm seeing riches and action figures. Keep killing niggas and making these little checks get bigger. Say that's the mission, I'm writing until our plats get bigger. You say we winning, he putting goals up in his dentures. Cause you don't know all the tribulations that we adventure. We really living, I'm up in Tally Gang in the city.
I don't know, he might have been featured on this and he had a verse in it.
With me. Like I'm 50, they won't smoke. Tell them keep dissing like I'm Boston Richie. And ain't no way I can't get shot cause I got Timmy with me. I talked to two and I told them that we authentic, nigga. Reach for our dreams, I'm seeing riches and action figures. Keep killing niggas and making these little checks get bigger. Say that's the mission, I'm writing until our plats get bigger.
The gang talking to me sounding like some activists. Talk to them every day, they tell me that I'm talented. If I cry after I lose, that mean I'm passionate. Shout out to Speed, paved the way for all this rapping shit. Young nigga trying to turn it up, yeah, I'm on go mode. Never turn my back on my brother, yeah, that's the bro code. Cruising in my whip, like the nigga going slow-mo. Got love in my city, when they see me, they want a photo. As a youngin', I ain't never eat no peas. On the field, I'm a saint, I be throwing like Drew Brees. Worry about no trouble, I ain't gotta worry about no bleeding. For the gang, I'm 10 toes down, I'm standing on my feet.
Talk to two, and I told him that we authentic, nigga. Reach for our dreams,
I think that's good. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't
I
bad.
Actually did. His part was pretty good. And his voice fits very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely his voice. He doesn't really, he keeps out a little low, but
you don't really need auto-tune on him.
No, it was all right. I don't think I'd actually listened to that before. Like, I saw the picture of the song, and I was like, I think I was going to come back to it, and I don't think I ever did. But it wasn't bad. Not bad. Maybe he'll have a rapping career after a long Colt starting quarterback career.
I feel like Indiana is the least likely place for a rapper to come out of. Top 3 of like least likely, or least receptive to rap music. I feel like there's a lot of country going on.
And I'm in Houston. There's a lot of deep rooted history in rap here. So
yeah.
The South in particular, like here, Atlanta, Louisiana. There's a deep root of rap here. So Yeah, it's you don't hear like, oh yeah, that dude from Indy.
I mean, Anthony's from Florida, so that's the only. But when you think about Indianapolis Colts quarterback has
Anthony
released,
Richardson has a new rap single coming out. Like that's
maybe Indiana's next up. Indiana's next up in the rap game.
Could you imagine though, like the Colts make it to a Super Bowl and AR does like a rap promo to a Super Bowl?
I always thought that he should be the PA announcer for the Colts, and they just record like the player intros. So when like they call out Anthony Richardson, it's gonna be him running out to his own voice because his voice is perfect.
Yeah, he
It's
definitely
so
has
deep.
like the commentary. Yeah, man, he's got a voice that's fit to do a lot of shit.
He could do. I don't know if you've seen Bleacher Report does Gridiron Heights. Have you seen that before?
Mm-mm.
There are these little animations that they do usually during the football season. I highly recommend watching them. They're awesome. They're so funny. And in the videos, Anthony Richardson, because he's a rookie, he has a super like a baby voice. He sounds like a toddler. It's awesome. And he's the only thing he does is he screams Anthony Richardson. Here we go. Gridiron Heights, Anthony Richardson.
Jeez.
Best of, yeah, I think they only do them for the rookies. I want to say, there's too many, but they have some good Andrew Luck and Anthony Richardson ones. So good at Roger Goodell brainwashing Aaron Rodgers to play for the Jets. That was another one. And I think that could lead into a good football debate. Because CJ Stroud was on a podcast talking about would you rather have Eli Manning's career or Aaron Rodgers' career? And everyone's like, oh, because he chose Eli. And everyone is like, oh, he's stupid for choosing Eli because Aaron Rodgers is, he's the better quarterback. But when you're talking, I think the question needs to be reworded. But the question is about the career, like what their careers have done. So it could be, who would you rather take career-wise? I would take Eli, 100%.
Oh yeah, 2 Super Bowls, knocked down Tom Brady twice. Absolutely.
Yeah, Eli didn't win MVPs, but Eli is like a folk hero in the NFL world. He is like beloved everywhere, except for New England. They hate him. But I mean, you're gonna have somebody hate you if you play in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's a folk hero. He's beloved around the league. He's just a goofy, dopey guy who was the brother of Peyton, who somehow kind of lucked into winning the same amount of Super Bowls as his brother. Aaron Rodgers won 1 Super Bowl early in his career, and it's somewhat forgotten about, I think, when people talk about
it. And I also feel like he's always been that, like, he's done some really great plays, but I feel like he's always been overrated. I don't think he's just that phenomenal, whatever.
I think as like a skill,
bad, but like
as a player, he is, in my opinion, he's one of the, I think skill wise, he's one of the great, he's like a top 3 skill player. I think he has all the necessary tools to succeed. You can look, I think you look at Peyton as number 1, as just like the pure quarterback. Peyton Manning is the quarterback. And even if he played on the Broncos his whole life, I would say he is still that. Like he is, I mean, his nickname is the Sheriff for a reason. He would literally command the team down the field. That is what a quarterback should be. I think Aaron Rodgers is another one where he can do it all. Like you don't see him miss a lot of passes. You don't see him make too many mistakes that are truly his fault. And they are just like, those two are like the smartest quarterbacks. But when you look at careers and you look at numbers, I'll take a 500 record if I win 2 Super Bowls and I'm beloved. Aaron Rodgers, like, love him or hate him, the last 5 years he has made himself the most controversial figure in football.
It's pretty funny, but I'm not going to get into
he's hilarious. But like, it seems like every time he steps on TV that's not on the football field, he like I think he ruins his legacy when you talk about it. He makes himself one of the most controversial figures in the league, and it's like nobody thinks about. I mean, you obviously think about Aaron Rodgers on the field, but like when you think about him, it's like, okay, he plays for the Jets and he makes a sideshow. He's made a sideshow out of last season, talking about I'm trying to come back. I'm trying to come back. He makes a sideshow out of the Green Bay Packers off seasons.
I think I'll be able to play if the Jets are in contention. Like,
yeah,
you tore your Achilles. Your season is done, dude. Shut up.
Yeah. Talking about, oh, I don't know if I'm going to retire or come back to the Packers. That was a sideshow for years. Like, and earlier in his career, obviously he didn't really do that. But as he's like aged and become more and more, all this stuff about like the COVID toe thing was hilarious when he was like, yeah, I have COVID toe. I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But like him talking about the immunization stuff, and I'm not going to give my personal opinion on all this stuff, but you can't deny that stuff has made him a controversial figure, and his legacy is not a positive one. Like when I think at the end of his career, I don't think you're going to think about it like that. And that's just an objective statement of he's controversial. So would I rather have that or dopey, stupid, goofy Eli Manning, who has aged better than his brother? Eli has aged a lot better. I'll take Eli every single day, 24/7. Like the personal accolades are awesome. But I think a part of it, if you're winning MVPs, but you have 5, 10, 15 like what if games, what if this one thing goes right? What if this other thing goes right? That's successful, but that's so empty. You're like, I want to be able to celebrate with my guys on the field.
Yeah.
I want to be able to hoist the Lombardi trophy with everyone surrounding me.
Yeah.
Hoisting the MVP trophy is great, but that's not a Lombardi. You're not reaching the pinnacle. And Eli has done it. Eli is one of 12 quarterbacks to ever win 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
There's only
and
12
he's in the
quarterbacks
top 10 in every category.
In the history of the NFL, he is one of 12.
I mean, passing yards, touchdowns, he's in the top 10.
Aaron Rodgers also has a great career.
Ask the question: Is Eli Manning a shoe-in Hall of Famer? And I can't remember what Facebook. I'm like, yes.
He's not a first ballot.
He's not a first ballot, but he'll get in the Hall of Fame.
When you get into the Hall of Fame debate,
top 10 when he retired and everything, 2 Super Bowls, yeah, he's going to get in the Hall of Fame.
When you get into the Hall of Fame debate, I think people, because there always is the Hall of Very Good debate, right? And it's like, okay, like is this guy, like, is OBJ a Hall of Famer? I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. He's a Hall of Very Good. He had a few very good years, but the voters are not going to think OBJ had like this like long run of great years, right? But when you think about guys like Eli, who's won 2 Super Bowls, he has a 500 record. I think he's like even in passing touchdowns and interceptions too, which is hilarious. But because like that's just like your career is so balanced. 500 wins, 500 losses, 500 picks, 500 or whatever touchdowns. Not 500 touchdowns, but just because a guy is not a first ballot Hall of Famer does not mean he's not deserving of the Hall of Fame. He's absolutely 2 Super Bowls. That's more than deserving, in my opinion.
The 10 other people, and there are a couple of people below that 10 spot where he ranks in yards and all that shit that are already in the Hall of Fame, that are beneath him in passing yards.
I hate Joe Namath because he threw more interceptions than passing touchdowns, and I get he played in a different era. I was like, Johnny Unitas still threw more touchdowns than interceptions. Like, what the fuck? Joe Namath never won an MVP, and he's a Hall of Famer, right? I think he is.
I think so.
Actually, did Joe Namath win an MVP? I don't know if he did. Oh, 1968, he was the MVP. Seriously? No, Earl Morrall won the MVP in 1968. That means Google is giving me Joe Namath propaganda. They're putting out misinformation about Joe Namath.
Propaganda.
Unless it was the AFL.
we're coming up to the hour 20 mark. It might be a good time to. I'm getting tired.
All right, yeah. Joe Namath did win the AFL MVP. Doesn't fucking count. NFL is the only one that counts.
Only NFL. All right,
Still,
man.
I hate winning.
It's been great.
Phillip Rivers, and we'll wrap up after this sentence, actually. Phillip Rivers could be a debate next week about an MVP, or not MVP, Hall of Fame, if he could be in the Hall of Fame. That's a good debate.
Yeah. You know what? Put it on the notes for next time. We'll debate that next time.
Yeah. He's also a Colt, so relation to the Colts as well.
For sure. It's been great, man. I appreciate all your time. Thanks for, taking time out of your day to do it. And, thanks to everybody still listening, watching. We're on Spotify, all that stuff. If you don't want to watch our ugly mugs, you can go on there. If you made it through the hour 20, please make sure you give us a like, subscribe, head over to Chaotically Intolerant, head over to Curtis Podcast Network, this AFC South show, do the same. We appreciate all the support. We thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, CITTL week 3, Sunday night, 9:00. It's me and the number 1 player are playing each other. I've dropped to number 2, but it's a big battle this week. This is Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. This is everything. So get ready on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all live. Check it out.
For sure. Make sure you do that. Always go Colts.
Go Colts.
Let's go, man. Let's go Colts. And I don't.